Today, the jobs report falls way short, and AOC touts how many lives Planned Parenthood has saved. Yeah, we'll get into that, and it all starts right now. Hey, welcome to the news and why it matters. Happy Friday. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by my friends Eric July, BlazeTV contributor, and Jaco Booyens, host of the Jaco Booyens Show. Obviously, back by popular demand, the dynamic duo. Everyone loves Eric and Jaco together. So.
I love Eric and Sarah. It's good to be here.
It's a good trio.
Yes,
I like the combination of that.
Yeah, mixing it up. You know.
Yeah, well, I feel like whenever Eric July is here, my job is to just get him just going off about something.
Get him
pissed off about something. I'm like, what can I get Eric pissed off about today? So we'll see how well I do on this. All right, so the U.S. Department of Labor has released its official April payroll report. And this is it's not good news. It's really shocked Wall Street and prompted a lot of states to begin re-examining federal unemployment benefits. So according to these numbers, the economy added about 266,000 new jobs in April. This falls way short of forecasts, and the unemployment rate rose to 6.1%. According to Bloomberg, overall employment remains 8 million short of pre-pandemic levels. Now, I have to tell you, too, I want to get, gentlemen, your thoughts on this, but I have to say, what was the CNBC that they were reading this report on air, and it was so bad they had to be like, wait, is this number right? Watch.
Let's get to Steve because he's got the number. Okay, good. 1.08. Steve, the number.
Wow, it just came across. Give me a second here. We have the number here. Just came across. Sorry about that. It came across very quickly here. It looks like 266,000. It looks like it was a big disappointment at 266, but maybe I have that wrong. Let me double check the Bureau.
No, you got it right, bro.
1 second.
You got it correct.
Yes, 266 is correct. Unemployment little change to 6.1%. So we have some issues here.
266,000.
Long-term unemployed.
Big revision.
Yes, that's what I'm.
Last month,
770
versus 916. Yes.
Oh, that's not the news you want. CNBC's like, maybe I need to change my glasses. I'm not sure. No, that's right. That's correct. It was that bad. Eric.
Look, the problem when it came to COVID-19 and the government's response was, I don't care who was in office and who wasn't, whether you're talking state level, local level, it was disasters. Considering the fact that people went immediately to the welfare state to try to basically put the entire economy on hold, as if it works like that, like it's a light switch. Mm-hmm. And they said, hey, the nanny state, we will take care of you. And then these idiots act surprised when you've rolled out literally trillions of dollars worth of welfare statism, not just social welfare statism, paying businesses off the top with money that ain't theirs, and it's also not there. So you got a combination of two different things here, which I told y'all at this round table, I think I was sitting right here in this chair when we talked about inflation rates and all these sorts of things that are going to be an issue that America needs to start paying attention to. But it is a disastrous combo where you not only shut everything down, you paid people to sit there and be unproductive. You cannot be surprised in the event that people are either hesitant or simply don't go back to work. I mean, I'm reading all the time about definitely factory jobs and so forth. We can't even get people to come back to work. Why do you think that is? This is why we are no stupid people that like to think that folks hate poor people because we're against the welfare state. But you have to understand what bad behavior it incentivizes. Yeah, exactly. It incentivizes people to do exactly what they're doing right now. You're paying them to be unproductive. Of course, they're not going to go back to work.
So let me just add to this conversation. Jaco, I want to get your thoughts, but let me just add to this conversation. To your point, Eric, let's see, South Carolina, Montana just announced that they are ending enhanced federal unemployment benefits for all residents beginning next month because they're discouraging people from joining the workforce. And then Ron DeSantis over in Florida are buddy, Ron DeSantis, love you over there. He also announced that Florida residents will be required to show proof that they are looking for work in order to continue to receive unemployment benefits. This begins on May 29th.
Yep. I did a show with Glenn on his radio station the other day, which I encourage everybody to watch. And in there, we talked about South Africa and the political cycle and where we are. And now they're at 29.5% unemployment. This is where you will go. It'll keep plummeting down because it's human behavioral science. And those who are pushing this agenda understand human behavioral science. You form a habit in 21 days. So you shut them down for 6 months on the couch and you send mail money. And you're conditioning an individual to let their motor, their internal drive, their purpose shuts down. And then you go, we're going to flip the switch, as you said, and fire it back up. And they go, oh, heck no. You got me on the dole, which is the British welfare system. Go look at London. Thank you very much. You don't recover, ever, ever. You can't turn that ship around. That is iceberg. Oh, the Titanic sunk. That's what happens here. And it will not turn around because the policies are literally training people. They don't have mind control. This is human behavioral science. This is how you condition a people, mass people. And now you take that and you superimpose it on the vaccine and the fear factor. And this is just what they do because they understand how this works. You cannot turn that around unless you radically change policies like we saw in 2016. Hey, by the way, we're going to run this country like a company now. That's what happened by Trump. I'm going to run it like it's a company. I'm going to cut all the cost. I'm going to hold people accountable. I'm going to create jobs. You're going to work for it, as you should train your children to do. No. You know what? We send you money in the mail. I got something in the mail yesterday. It's so funny. From the Biden campaign. I don't know if you got it. Just to remind me that they did, in fact, pay people $2,000. It was $1,400 and $600 in the mail. I kept it. I want to bring it on the show.
Oh, that's amazing.
To me, I'm like, bro, clearly you do not understand.
You guys are wasting paper on this. You're environmentalists over there.
Stop killing the trees.
Burning trees.
No, but and again, even that. I looked at it, I said, Philippa, look at the conditioning here. Yes, right, they are taking care of me. I'll forfeit a little bit more. I'll sit on the couch, right? No, I say penalize people who are capable of working and won't work. Contribute to society. Stop sitting on the couch and want a handout. You're on this team called the USA? We'll wait.
Yeah. Have you guys seen I've seen a couple different little signs that have surfaced on Twitter and places like that, it's like signs that workplaces have up, businesses have up that are like, hey, we'd love to hire you. We can't find people because nobody wants to come work for us because they'd rather collect money from their couches. I mean, that's how bad it is.
And that's what kills me about these politicians is they look at it now, and these, whether it be the Montanas of the world or everybody, like, oh, scramble it. Wait, we got to change it up. If you think it happens or, that's the reaction, how do you think it applies everywhere else? You're talking about welfare statism that have been going on for decades at a time. Like, it is bloated. It is massive. People don't seem to understand the various and vast amounts of things that specifically the federal government, though not exclusively, that they are involved in terms of subsidizing. That is an actual problem. Not only are you're not incentivizing innovation, you're not incentivizing people to work or anything like that. As long as you're saying, this is why taxes frustrate me so much. Because, of course, it's theft. I recognize that. But it's not just that. It's the fact that the people that do decide to go be, let's say, functioning human beings within, which, it's a beautiful thing where you get to work and basically you're helping your fellow man out by providing a good or a service or something of that nature. I love that. And that's an awesome thing. And a lot of other folks decide not to do that because, you're paying them off the top. And then they expect you to continue. Joe Biden's talking, we know where he's talking about capital gains. He's talking about raising that almost up to 40%. Now, it used to be $1 million. If you were making over $1 million, you were going to be the ones getting taxed. Now it's $400,000. That's so frustrating. And of course, that in itself does not incentivize people to work. It was the absolute worst combination. Those people that were economically illiterate, let's call them what they were, thought that that's how it could work. You could just flip the switch off. People not being productive, the absolute worst combination where people are not being productive and you're printing money out of thin air. And I remember when the first stimulus bill was at $1.8 trillion or whatever. And I remember sitting here at this round table, it's like, Am I the only one that doesn't see this as insane that nobody's
gonna pay for
working
this? Yeah.
and they're coming up with this money out there now? Do people not understand what the implications are with that? Oh no, steel's up, lumber's up, like quadrupled in terms of its amount. Price, gas, everything's going up. People are like, why isn't it going as far as it was before? Because of that disastrous combination, unproductive people and printing money out of thin air. Because they were giving you money off the top. It's just a disastrous combination.
Eric, we've got people in this country who have kids and are married that can't even balance a checkbook, okay? So it's not hard, and it's not hard to hoodwink the Americans. It's not hard to say, don't worry, we'll just print money. It shows up. It is conditioning a society to nationalize a country. This is how you nationalize a state. This is how it becomes, under the guise of a democracy, which, by the way, we're a republic. We're not a democracy.
Democracy's not good.
Okay? Democracy is flat out don't work. Okay? Because you can nationalize a democracy around the world, right? So, yeah. Wake up time. Wake up time.
Seriously, like people need to. I know a lot of folks throw that kind of by the wayside because people are just so accustomed to it and conditioned. Because the government just pays for virtually everything, and it's okay, everything's all good, they'll take care of you. But they don't look at the economic basically the kickback, which it may not happen then. And you may not even see it immediately because it dwindles down, right? It's like, okay, the price of this. Exactly, that's the perfect term.
It's
perfect term to put it. Incremental. It's
people
incremental.
Don't take stock. How many inches have they taken?
Yep.
And if you really take stock, you go, dang. They took a mile from us last year. I thought it was just a couple of inches, and this is how they do it.
Yep.
It's just bit by bit, which is how you win a football game, inch by inch.
All right, before we go to break, I do want to get into one other topic here. The Biden Department of Justice is intervening in the election auditing efforts by the Republicans. This is in the state of Arizona, specifically Maricopa County. They are doing that audit. And the DOJ said, you know what, we're going to send a letter to the president of the Arizona State Senate suggesting that the recount is illegal. Now, this, of course, raises the possibility of a clash between state and federal authorities over the audit. But the DOJ Civil Rights Division says that the recount by a private contractor may not comply with federal law. By the way, this is a recount of nearly 2.1 million ballots. They said the ballots, the election records, which are required by federal law to be retained and preserved, are no longer under the ultimate control of elections officials and not being adequately safeguarded. It's just bizarre because every time look, I get it. When you fortify an election, you got to make sure that, you fortify it and no one knows how you fortified it. Yeah. But it's just interesting to me because if everything is on the up and up, as obviously it is, we have the most popular president in United States history in Joe Biden. Obviously, everything is on the up and up. But if that's the case, why is it that they don't want anyone looking into anything regarding this election? I'm just curious.
Look, if there's nothing to see, why is the Department of Justice?
Curious.
Now all of a sudden the Department of Justice gets involved?
The Civil Rights Division.
But when we said, hey, can we have fair and balanced election, then the Justice Department was nowhere to be found.
Yes.
They were hiding. No court would take it. No court would even say count. Now all of a sudden on a recount they go, oh, no.
Yeah.
They're about to take the lid off Pandora's box here, get the Justice Department to come in here, the Civil Rights Division, and put a lid on this thing again.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought there's nothing to see here.
That's what I'm just.
I thought it's all good. I thought this white guy is the most popular president under Black America, more than Barack Obama.
He is Yako.
Right? He is.
I have something in my eye. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's just this one eye that I keep. Yeah. Gosh, that's weird.
Maybe Corn Pop has some answers for us.
Eric, what I'm sorry, but it just seems a little bit weird.
Well, this whole ordeal was a little bizarre. When we had saw that, and this is a point that Rand Paul had brought up numerous times, that you misspeak when you say that, okay, they found that there was, let's say, no wrongdoing or something, which wasn't really the case in a lot of cases. It was that they wouldn't even take up the case at all.
That's
So
right.
they never looked into it.
Right.
So, which I think is what everybody that participates in this in that election that was frustrated, that's all they wanted. If you could just prove that they were legitimate, I think they would have been fine, but you wouldn't even give them that. You wouldn't even give them an audit. So, when you get, I always love to see the federal government and the state clash for any reason. That's also always exciting to me.
But shouldn't it be it's the states?
Right, you think that would be the case, right?
Yeah.
Exactly
It should be the
that.
Arizona
But
Senate.
it goes to show, I guess,
Yeah.
where there's smoke, there's fire is the way that I look at it. So maybe it was, I don't know, it was legitimate, fortified. It was the most popular president of all time. Joe
Well,
Biden.
that's why you have to fortify an election. You got to be like, this guy's popular. We got to fortify everything.
Yeah, there's nothing to see.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we've got more to come, including how much Joe Biden's migrant plan has cost you. So if you have high blood pressure, you may want to make sure that you've taken your medication before we get into that. But before we do that, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Bonner Wines, which I have to say, I'm very much looking forward to having my Bonner wine as soon as I get done with the show, because it's Friday. So if those of you really love having wine during happy hour, let me tell you how to make that drink 10 times healthier. You got to go get these Malbec wines from down in Argentina. They make this dark red wine from these grapes that are grown at 9,000 feet. And because they are grown at 9,000 feet, they contain up to 10 times the levels of longevity and heart health nutrient. It's called resveratrol. Okay, resveratrol pops up again and again in studies on heart health, brain health, life longevity. The wines also have 90% less sugar, fewer chemicals, fewer additives. You guys know me as the health nut here at Blaze TV. And I'm here to tell you that if someone in your life, or maybe you yourself, are just looking to get healthier, you can just order this wine and be like, I'm doing this as a gift for myself to be more healthy. So all of you people who are telling me to be more healthy can screw off, because I'm going to drink my wine in peace. I'm telling you guys, in all seriousness, they keep getting new shipments of these in, and they keep disappearing. They are so hot sellers that you have to go before they run out again. You got to go to cowgirlwine2021.com. They're giving you 50% off right now, the best Malbecs. You're also going to get 50% off of shipping. It makes a great gift, by the way. If you're looking for this really last minute Mother's Day gift, you can print out the receipt and say, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. You're going to get it in the mail, and you're going to love it. It's cowgirlwine2021.com. That is cowgirlwine2021.com. All right, so I was just reading that, and my producer was talking to me about it, that Jen Psaki, I didn't realize this, she just said that she's going to step down next year as White House press secretary, because she thinks that, maybe next year and a year from now, someone else should step in to do the job, and that we should hear from more than just her. She did also say, let's see, where's the quote? She said, I think there frankly needs to be diverse spaces and voices as communicators. Women, certainly, but beyond that. So who knows what's in store for us as the next White House press secretary? Maybe we'll get it'll need to be black, trans,
cis,
non-cis,
trans,
non-binary,
half alien,
two-spirit. I don't know what to. I can't use a pronoun because that would be. So, which is very, very sad for me, because I think Jen Psaki is just so good at her job. She's just amazing. She really knows how to circle back.
I vote to bring McEnany back.
Yeah, I don't think that they would. I don't think that they would like that very much.
I don't think so.
I don't think they'd go for that.
Too much truth and verification. That book. Can we remember
the Burn
that?
Book. I missed the
How
Burn
cool
Book.
was that book?
All right. So the federal government has awarded about $3 billion in contracts to shelter unaccompanied illegal immigrant children just since February. So this is the Department of Health and Human Services, and there was over $2 billion to 2 private companies and 1 nonprofit, and then some other contracts that went to some other places, so no worries, okay? I know a lot of people, when we come on the topic of illegal immigration, they say, well, this is not costing taxpayers anything. This is I know, it's a wash, it's a net. No, actually, they're contributing because they're paying taxes too. Well, first of all, that's a complete lie, what you're saying, but also on top of that, they're also costing us just the unaccompanied illegal immigrant children, just the $3 billion. So congrats if you're a tax-paying citizen.
That's always been the argument point that I've had. Look, my plex with immigration isn't as much as a lot of other folks. My issue has been strictly from the libertarian position of these folks are stealing from people, and seems to people just completely dismiss this idea as if this isn't a thing. Yeah. When you consider stuff specifically, that's what it's designed to do, the refugee resettlement program, where they literally steal billions upon billions of dollars from the American taxpayer in order to subsidize this form of immigration. I don't care where you're at on the particular issue. Doesn't matter if you are a Republican, libertarian, doesn't matter. That is a wrongdoing. And that's specifically the issue. Never mind the other stuff. That in itself right there is the problem. It goes on a lot more than I think a lot of people seem to understand. It's not a case of, where people are just crossing the border. And, I say all the time when it comes to taxes, hell, to me, the preferable thing is that they don't, don't get stolen from. I mean, that's all good and dandy, but that's not merely what we're dealing with. And people have unfortunately fooled themselves into thinking that that's the case, because I guess they are so pro-immigration that they want to think that it's like pretty, it's in a bowl. That's exactly what's happening. It's these helpless people, or rather that are looking to seek help, maybe in helping themselves, but that's not generally what you're dealing with stuff like the refugee resettlement program, which is why I said I have no issue, and me personally, after speaking to a lot of people on different sides of the political aisle, they don't have as much of an issue with those celebrities out there in Hollywood reaching in their own pocket, bringing in and housing an immigrant of some sort by way of a sponsorship. They don't do that. It's not even on the table. No. But what they do want is you to subsidize it. And I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum, that in itself is wrong.
Again, I'd say, okay, you're going to subsidize it, then show me the end result. Here are the facts, okay? Not one of the 177 organizations that I personally work with, our team works with in the anti-trafficking movement, received a cent to house a single child. $3 billion went to 3 organizations. $3 billion went to 3 organizations. Then why, a week ago, 10 days ago, do children cross the border, a bus shows up, they don't meet a single CBP agent, they talk to nobody, this is fact, they get on a bus, the bus drives into the center of McAllen, Texas, and says, welcome to the USA, and off they go. They're not placed. Where's the $3 billion going? So one thing to steal from America, okay, so if you stole from somebody, Robin Hood, right? And then you actually went and fed the poor, I could still say, okay, well, at least now, in some weird way, they can justify, hey, we're actually doing it. There's $3 billion, and I'm telling you, it's not going to the child. This is the Red Cross situation in Haiti, where they raised $4 billion under the Clintons, and not a single Haitian was helped. 0. That's what's happening. So yeah, you're right. They're stealing from the taxpayer, and shame on the taxpayer that's okay with paying that money to Uncle Sam, that's giving it to maybe, can we say 400 organizations? No, 3. 3. You go audit those 3 organizations right now. You'll see that money goes to buying a Mercedes, growing a mansion, but the kids are being picked up in buses. Go to McAllen and see, and just released. They're not being placed in homes. $3 billion, you can build a couple homes for $3 billion. You can build some foster homes. Where are they? Show us on the news. Show me the foster homes you built. Bring little, the kid from, Central America to come tell us, hey, I lived there. Uncle Sam's amazing. He built this house. We got a pool. I got a trampoline. I'm eating. 0. It's money laundering by Uncle Sam stealing from you and me, the taxpayer, period.
It is so interesting, too, when you see the White House. We talked about this yesterday on the show. When you see the White House continue to deflect on the border crisis that is still ongoing. I know at first the media was very upset, the mainstream media, they were very upset to get shut out because they're just mad that they're not involved. So they were willing to report on it. It's kind of gone by the wayside now. But I mean, just the other day, they released these pictures of the shelters and said, look, they're empty. And really, there was a Democrat representative here in Texas that was like, yeah, they're not. They just moved them over to a temporary place. Like the kids are still there. They just moved them out of these plastic cages and taken them out there and then taken pictures of the plastic cages and been like, look what we did. It was never a crisis. Yeah.
Smoke and mirrors, is it not? That's what it really is. And unfortunately, there are stupid enough people that think that something, I guess, this situation is getting better. And I guess if it doesn't go reported or they don't see it, remember, if it doesn't come from CNN, there's a big block of people that don't even believe that it's real. Right. And when you have like Democrats, or rather the Democratic Party, who has went all in on trying to, let's say, pander to that specific demographic there, it looks bad on them when you consider how they're handling it. And they're dealing with a lot of the same issues that the previous administration had to deal with. They'll never concede that. They'll never concede that at all. And they certainly don't want to look bad in that regard. So what better way than to just bury it and act like it doesn't happen? Or as they continue to say, well, we inherited this mess.
Right.
And don't think it's done. 12,500 kids crossed the border. They spent $3 billion supposedly to help them. Our numbers show us there's 25,000 minors coming to the border in the next 6 months. So what, they're going to take another $7 billion?
Oh, yeah.
To another 3 organizations of favor? You know, so that hole is a black hole that they'll throw money in it because they're paying themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Stealing from the people.
It ain't like it's like they're earning it. So, of course, as with anything else when it's taxpayer funded, you're encouraged to just keep throwing money at the problem. And generally, when you're dealing with politics, there's some people that's got to get laced up. And before it'll trickle on down to all those other people that may actually need it. Either way, you shouldn't be stealing from me to pay for it.
I also, if you're going to steal from me to pay for it, I would love for it to go towards actual American citizens, like the foster children that we have or the homeless people that we have in poorly run Democrat places. Those blank hole places that
Did we
President
start a
Trump
Sarah for
say.
Office campaign?
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Did I just?
I don't know. I already told future governor of Texas, Chad Prather, that I would be his press secretary. So I don't know. We'll see.
Texas for Chad. Chad for Texas. Come on.
All right, we've got more to come, including what AOC said about Planned Parenthood. You're not going to want to miss that one. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. Now is the time. We've got all of these corporations trying to cancel free speech. We really need to be supporting companies that support our values, believe in our values, believe in the Constitution. If you have not yet already, you got to go to patriotmobile.com/news. Check out all of their plans. When you switch today and you bring your own phone, you will get 50% off of your first 2 months, plus a free Patriot starter kit. By the way, while you're there, you can enter to win a free phone and cellular service for life. All of the details are on this special page. It is patriotmobile.com/news. They have the broadest nationwide coverage. They use the same towers as all of the major carriers. You're going to get the same service. Plus, they have plans to fit any budget. They include multi-line discounts. Switching is very easy. It's 2021. You can port your own phone number over. You can bring your own phone. You can buy a new one, get a new number, however you'd like to set it up. Just go to patriotmobile.com/news. By the way, veterans and first responders, you're going to save even more. So make sure to make the switch today. You're going to get that discount, the free Patriot starter kit, everything you need at patriotmobile.com/news. That is patriotmobile.com/news. A good friend of the program, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, was talking on a virtual, because you never can be too careful, is a virtual House Oversight and Reform Committee hearing. It was titled, before I share the title, I would just like to remind you guys that Congress is taking up the most important of issues. So it was a hearing titled Birthing While Black, Examining America's Black Maternal Health Crisis. And of course, Planned Parenthood came into play because, again, Congress takes up only the most important health issues, which, Planned Parenthood is there for everyone because Planned Parenthood saves lives, according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Listen.
So much, Madam Chairwoman. that was just a lot. And I think it's really important that it's addressed very directly right now and in this moment. First and foremost, I don't want to hear a single person on this committee or outside of this committee talk about valuing life when they continue to uphold the death penalty, when they continue to support policies that disproportionately incarcerate and lead to the deaths of Black men and people throughout this country, and uphold an absolutely unjust medical system that exists for profit that allows people to die because they can't afford to live. In addition to that, if we want to talk about Planned Parenthood, let's talk about how many lives Planned Parenthood has saved and how many babies have been born because of the prenatal care provided by Planned Parenthood. And if you don't believe it, and if you've never met a Planned Parenthood baby, I'm happy to let you know that I am one. And that my mother received and relied on prenatal care from Planned Parenthood when she was pregnant with me. And so if we're concerned about life, we don't get to talk about anyone else who's not concerned about the full spectrum of that.
First of all, if we're concerned on life, you don't need to be lecturing me about who can or cannot be concerned about life, because you support literally the killing of babies in the womb, Alexandria. So don't sit there and wag your finger at anyone who dares try to protect babies in the womb. Thank you very much, Miss. I'm going to tell you how it's going to be. I don't think so.
Yeah, that was self-detonating. She had something going there. I mean, it was mostly wrong, but the fact that she would bring up Planned Parenthood and then go the baby route was like, she had to have saw that coming. But she's pretty ditzy.
She had to have. I don't know about that.
She's a little ditzy. Yeah. So maybe that she didn't put two and two together. Like, okay, I probably just stepped in it, considering the definitely when you're talking about people of color, you know, the mass amounts of people that are babies that are killed by way of
you want to talk about disproportionately?
Yeah, if we want to go that route, but. Yeah, that's AOC for you. She's a hyper sort of emotional, rhetoric-driven type of chick, and that's what she uses to. Unfortunately, a lot of people follow her because of that, as she's trying to lecture everybody. But I do want to correct her on one instance that maybe I don't know where Yako's going to go in it, but she's completely wrong on this whole idea that people die from not getting care because they can't pay for it. It is literally illegal for them to even do that. Nobody, you would never be denied any sort of, so you may get a bill, but you would never be denied of any service by way of anybody, any hospital in this country because you cannot pay. That is a talking point that a lot of people, now whether I believe that's the case or not is a completely irrelevant point. I'm acknowledging what it actually is, and that is a bald-faced lie, but she continues to say it along with a lot of her leftist colleagues, that little talking point of, something being for profit, therefore it's bad because reasons. Not to mention that the medical industry is one of the most highly regulatory industries in this country, as well as the most highly subsidized. You saw this with COVID-19, one of the most highly subsidized. So to act like this is pro-market, for-profit incentive type of situation going on is, again, just not true.
Well, by the way, if I could just say, I mean, if she wants like medical care to be free, which is kind of what she's insinuating, that it should be free, you're talking about making people, I mean, that would be literal slavery if you're requiring people to give their skilled labor for free. That's just called slavery. So I would just like to point out that what she's advocating for is you can't do that. You can't require doctors to take care of people for free.
It's different when it's for something that she wants. It's something that's good. Generally, they'll use force, aggression, all sorts to choke you out. Whatever they want to do.
It's for the greater good. Yako.
Look, you get deaf, you get dumb, and you get stupid, and then you get Cortez, who's deaf, dumb, and stupid, okay? Who somehow, in one conversation, did it all, the full Monty. She starts the conversation by saying, nobody on this panel come talk to me about the value of life. What she was referring to is abortion. Right. So don't come talk about the abortion issue to me. So she's defending abortion and then somehow pivots through a whole cockamamie route back to, Planned Parenthood saves babies' lives. That was quite skillful, actually. I don't know, that level of dysfunction, we should save that clip. That should be for the archives. Like, this is the ultimate demise of a human being. This is how dysfunctional you can get. Okay, deaf, dumb, and stupid. Look, she is absolutely for killing babies. She has got no right even talking about the value of life. She has disqualified herself indefinitely for talking that life has value. And then the virtue signaling starts, and then the misquotes, because that's the narrative they want to drive. Yeah. They want America to believe that Canada is great free health care. Yeah, if you want to go wait 3 months to get an
it's almost like a bunch of them are coming over here.
Exactly.
Yes.
A friend of mine needs ACL therapy. They told him 3.5 months. He goes, I want to pay today. They go, no. You wait in line because it's free health care, or the doctors are dismal because they don't care, because they're slaves. So she's pro-slavery. She's pro-killing black babies because disproportionately, the 65 million babies aborted in this country disproportionately are black. And not only that, Planned Parenthood, Ms. Cortez, wrote the comprehensive sex ed curriculum that's sexualizing children in the classroom today, that pushes them towards gender neutrality and puberty blockers and all kinds of crap. So in one little statement, she was able to encapsulate the leftist movement, right, from its one dysfunctional, paradigm to the other. That takes some set of skill.
It does. It does. I would say that she is very cunning. She is. I mean, I don't think that that's to call her intelligent. I just think that there's a kind of a difference between intelligence and cunning. She really knows how to, side skirt a point to try to make people believe that her point is true when it's not. And I also love the way that she said, you don't get to tell me about life if you believe in the death penalty. And I'm like, you know what, if you want to have that conversation, let's have it. However, you don't get to just make a blanket statement comparing an innocent baby who's in the womb, who has they can't speak up and say, hey, mommy, I don't want you to kill me, right? Versus someone who makes a choice to, a capital murder or whatever the case may be. That's not even an appropriate comparison to make when you're talking about that. So it just more ridiculousness from AOC. Well, there you go. I hope everyone, again, took their blood pressure medication for the day. We've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Built Bar. So it's not too late. I'm telling you guys, I keep having to tell you, it's Mother's Day on Sunday. Don't forget, okay? And if you are looking for a very last-minute gift, and I mean really last minute because you guys should already have your gifts, you could do Built Bar. You order the Built Bar, like I said, print out the receipt and be like, here you go, Mom. I got you Built Bar. I got you Bonner wine. You are all set. Built Bar, we have started a revolution, all right, in the world of protein bars here on the News and Why It Matters, because you guys are loving Built Bar. It is a protein bar, but it's delicious. It tastes like a candy bar. It's not going to taste like cardboard. You're actually going to feel like you're eating junk food. You're eating like, a Snickers or something, but you're not. You're eating a Built Bar, which is going to be high in protein and fiber, low in calories and carbs. It's all covered in 100% chocolate. They have a ton of different flavors. It is delicious. You guys keep sending me your pictures of all of your shipments. You're like, I hate you, Sarah, because now I'm buying these things because I love them so much. They're so delicious. I can't stop eating them. Well, you're welcome, okay, because they're not going to expand your weight line and you're going to eat stuff that's delicious. You can go to BuiltBar.com, use promo code NEWS15 to save 15%. It is NEWS15 only at Built Bar. That is BUILT, BuiltBar.com. And to close the program, we have a very special story about a very special Mr. Potato Head and the estrogen running through his veins. Brian Stelter, who was just dealt a very, very, very bad blow this week. Unfortunately, Brian Stelter's program, Reliable Sources, hit another low on Sunday with its smallest audience of 2021. He has now failed to crack the 1 million viewer plateau for 5 consecutive weeks. And worst performance of the year, by the way, just for comparison purposes, Brian Stelter actually went out on vacation. He actually tweeted about it, too. He posted a cute little picture of a beach somewhere and said, turn on CNN. It's Reliable Sources time. John Avlon is in the chair while I'm somewhere out here. And as it turns out, his own show performed better when the replacement host, John Avlon, filled in. So he got an increase of like over 100,000 viewers as opposed to when Brian Stelter actually hosts his own show, which, as it turns out, is not what you want when you are 35 and look like Brian Stelter looks and also can't get the viewers to tune in. So I regret to inform you of this very, very horrible news about the estrogen running through his brain.
And it's hilarious
his
because
veins,
John
Brian
Avalon
Stelter.
sucks. Make no mistake.
Right.
That idiot was the other day griping about what people that are vaccine hesitant is the term that they use, and he was calling them stupid, and he said you can't fix stupid and all sorts of things. So imagine getting beat by that guy. But it goes to show, and this is why, if you look at what he had been, those sorts of shows that he was doing, where he'd have those people call in or wherever they were at, maybe they were in studio, and they would talk about this misinformation and all of this that was supposedly being spread by people that were on like YouTube, guys like myself. And he would bring up the fact that, well, they get more viewership than we do. And he seemed to be using that to say, well, we got to fix that because of the misinformation. That's not the problem here. The problem is that more people are not going to him. They're going to these sort of alternative different instances to get not only just their information, but to hear the commentary on that specific information. A lot of these guys are starting to become more and more obsolete, and they're clinging, they're holding on for life. They are.
And I just want to add to Eric's point, Yaku, Reliable Sources is not the only struggling CNN program right now. New Day, they just brought Brianna Keilar and put her on New Day. New Day is struggling. They're going down as well. They're averaging fewer than 500,000 viewers since they relaunched with her.
No Trump either, man. Sucks.
Well, right, and that's the thing is that they fought to get him out of office, and really that was the only reason that people were watching them.
Yeah, Orange Man bad. There goes CNN. He literally kept, and he
you
said
guys
it.
lobbied
he said
to
it.
get
He
yourselves
kept
out of a
them
job.
Alive.
Yes,
He is brilliant. He kept
was right.
them alive. He fed them breadcrumbs, and it kept them alive. They should thank him. They should write him a thank you note and get him back in the office. Look, I want to yield my time back to you because honestly, who cares? Bring the whole freaking thing down. Close the building in Atlanta because that city's gone practically, and just shut down CNN. I'm ready for it already. I mean, of course it's going to go down. But you make a good point. It's when they bring a more radical person in, the numbers went up even. And you think Potato Head's bad.
John Avalon is trash.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
said some outrageous things.
So Sarah, I mean, what are we going to talk about CNN if he's no longer there, if Mr. Potato Head is not there?
I mean, look,
anymore?
I will love the day that CNN goes away and we don't have to cover them at all because we don't have to correct their false statements.
Yeah.
We don't have to, show what the average person who's watching CNN is actually being indoctrinated with. That will be a wonderful day, in my opinion.
Yeah. Maybe I should do this and talk to your viewers, and we're so happy to be a guest here. But your viewers, the smart ones that loves alt media, the Blaze people, get your family to sign up to Blaze. And if you've got somebody watching CNN, liberate the people, for crying out loud. Give them freedom. Introduce them to the Blaze, to Sarah. Sprinkle a little love to Prather.
Yeah.
Sprinkle a little love to Glenn, but love on Sarah.
Well, I mean, gosh, I'm just so sad about CNN. I'm really torn up about it. It's really sad.
They get what they deserve.
Yeah, I'm going to go cry during the break. We'll be right back. They sure do. It's called karma, baby. Hey, good news. We are getting further and further up the Apple podcast charts, but we need your help. We need you to go, especially if you have Apple Podcasts, but whatever podcast you're listening to, audio podcasts, we need you to go to wherever you get your podcasts, specifically Apple Podcasts. If you do this, I'm talking to you. Go there, search for The News and Why It Matters, subscribe to the show, rate it, obviously 5 stars because you love us and we're the best, and then give us a review because that helps in the algorithm. It helps more people become able to see the show, to find the show in their searches, and to then also get the news and why it matters. And also, just for fun, we might read one of your reviews live on air. So we've got one today from Alexander S. I don't know how to say that last one. Ognabine. Sorry, Alexander. I love getting to listen to the podcast version while I'm at work. Nothing better than an honest roundtable discussion about what is actually going on in our society. I am glad that I'm moving back to Texas soon from the D.C. suburbs to be with actual real people. Wow, we're glad you're moving back also from the swamp.
Again.
Yeah.
Dance at the wedding.
You can dance.
Yeah.
You can dance now if you're going to a wedding. So congratulations to you, Alexander. Also, we've got one from, let's see, it is Old Dud W. Listen every day. Still need to subscribe to Yaku's channel, but love listening to Young Ripa. And I am an old dude. Okay, yes, it's old dude. Old dude listening to Young Ripa.
Come on.
So don't forget, Young
I
Ripa
like the
5'9".
contract.
You're covering the
Yaku Williams
generations.
Show.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Transcending generations.
Yeah, come on, bro.